Fatal Fury.
Again, Legendary Men return! That's right, guys, you're watching the Video Game Masters. I'm Mark Rodriguez.
And I'm Johnny Rodriguez. And this time we're going to go back in time talking about the very first original King of Fighters tournament.
And we're not talking about King of Fighters 94, we're talking about the original Fatal Fury, the King of Fighters.
So in this episode we're going to talk about Fatal Fury 1, Fatal Fury 2, and Fatal Fury Special.
So let's take a quick look at the very first fighting game that started off SNK's big fighting game franchise.
So let's check it out.
Andy Bogard versus Kung Fu Roo.
Round 1. Fight!
Fatal Fury, the King of Fighters came out in 1991 for the Neo Geo arcade and home system around the time Street Fighter 2 did. The plot follows Terry, Andy, and Joe as they enter the King of Fighters tournament in Southtown to find Geese Howard, the guy that killed Terry and Andy's father, Jeff Bogard, 10 years ago. The game lets you select from the Lone Wolves, Terry Bogard, his brother Andy Bogard, and their friend Joe Higashi. Afterwards, you can choose one of 4 opponents to start you off. You have the breakdancing Duck King, the capoeira fighter Richard Meyer, the martial arts master Kung Fu Roo, and the boxer Michael Max, who is the only guy I have ever seen to do a crucifix as a win pose. After you defeat the first 4 opponents, you face Hua Hai, the kickboxer who gets extra power from booze, the super cheesy wrestler Raiden, and the tournament champion Billy Kane.
It's pronounced Billy Khan.
No, it's pronounced Billy Kane.
Billy Khan.
No, the way it's spelled, it's Billy Kane.
No, it's Billy Khan.
Look, there's nothing anywhere that says that's pronounced Billy Khan, okay?
Excuse me?
Terry Bogard versus Billy Khan.
Okay, fine, so it's Billy Khan, fine.
You only get 3 buttons in this game. A punch button, a kick button, and a throw button. The game's unique feature is the ability to switch planes during the fights. The only downside is that only the computer opponent can jump in and out of the background whenever it wants. You can only follow them. The game's extra details have the stages change from morning to night between rounds. In Kung Fu Roo's case, it's raining in 8 rounds. You also get this weird bonus round every 2 fights where you arm wrestle this robot arm with a guy taunting you. Arm wrestling of the future. You also have cutscenes during the game as Geese gets angrier the farther you get into tournaments.
Well, anyways, after defeating Billy Khan and winning the tournament, you get grabbed by Geese's goons and thrown into a one-on-one fight against Geese Howard himself. Here's your chance to take him down. Don't worry, he gets better.
Oh man, Raiden's such a bitch. Hey, help me out, will ya? Sure.
This game also has a unique feature to let 2 players fight against the opponents at once. You can do this against anyone except for Geese Howard. Oh yeah, let's take this big guy down, Johnny.
Well, I would if this bastard would stop choking me! After you defeat the opponent, you'll have to fight each other, and the winner will continue to play the game. Super hardcore SNK fans might recognize the background music here from the classic pre-Neo Geo game Street Smart.
The original Fatal Fury is a classic game which seems a lot closer to the original Street Fighter game compared to Street Fighter 2. Luckily, the controls are a lot better here than in the first Street Fighter game. The game is fun at least for nostalgic value, and it's cool to see where so many classic SNK characters got their start. And that wraps it up for Fatal Fury 1.
And it's continued with Fatal Fury 2.
Round 1.
Fatal Fury 2 was released in 1992 and brings back the Lone Wolves with new fighters with better graphics and gameplay. This time there is a new tournament, but instead of being in Southtown, it's held all over the world.
Besides Terry, Andy, and Joe, you also get to play as the busty, bouncy Mai Shiranui, the wrestler Big Bear who used to be Raiden, the Taekwondo master Kim Kafwan, the Tai Chi fighter Cheng Shinzan, and Jubei Yamada, the Judo Demon. The game goes with the more familiar control scheme of 2 punches and 2 kicks. The plane switching is back, and this time you can finally jump in and out of the background whenever you want, and you can knock the opponent into the background too. And whoa, look at what we have here.
Mark, cut it out.
Fatal Fury 2 also has taunts in the game, as well as the now infamous desperation moves that can only be done when the life bar is flashing red. Back in the day, they were a lot more hidden and a lot harder to use. The arm wrestling bonus round is replaced with more regular ones. This one has you try to destroy all the falling stone pillars before time runs out. And this one has you destroy the stone blocks also before time runs out. As you get ready to face the bosses, you find out that a mysterious someone is going around defeating the fighters from the past Fatal Fury game. The bosses in this game are Billy Khan, who's back for revenge, the wild boxer Axel Hawk, and the matador Lawrence Blood. These 3 fight in areas with dangers in the background that can hurt you if they knock you into them.
I'll chisel your gravestone. Sleep well. Round 1.
The final boss is the Earl of Stroheim and the half-brother of Geese Howard himself, Wolfgang Krauser. Take him down to become the new King of Fighters. Fatal Fury 2 is an awesome improvement over the original. Sure, it doesn't have the fast-paced combo gameplay of Street Fighter 2 back in the day, but it was still a lot of fun in its own right. The now classic characters, the detailed backgrounds, and the epic music are all unforgettable. We played this game countless times back then, and this game is tough. If you want to see the ending, you gotta beat the whole game without continues. And I don't know about like the SNES or Genesis versions or whatever, but the Neo Geo system only gave you 3 continues to beat this game. The legendary men have returned.
You were perfect. I meant my man.
And now let's wrap things up by checking out Fatal Fury Special.
Round 1.
Fatal Fury Special was released in 1993 and is basically the super version of Fatal Fury 2. The game now added a better combo system and brought back some classic characters from the first Fatal Fury. The returning characters are the hip-hop dancing Duck King, the old master Tom Fu-Ru, and you guessed it, the evil Geese Howard. Since the game is a dream match, Geese isn't officially alive just yet. That's in the sequel. In the normal game, he's the second to last boss, and Krauser is still the final boss. Geese should have been the final boss because it's different, and compared to super cheesy Geese, Krauser just goes down like a bitch.
Well, at least he does against Joe Higashi.
Anyways, the boss characters Biddy Khan, Axel Hawk, Lawrence Blood, and Krauser himself are now selectable as well and have their own taunts, death moves, and endings.
Another extra surprise is if you can beat the entire game without losing a single round, you get to face Ryo Sakazaki from the Art of Fighting series, which makes it the very first time these 2 games would ever cross over. However, doing this will be a lot easier said than done. It's a long game since you gotta defeat all 15 opponents as well as your clone, and in the later stages, the opponents really get all up in your face. And since the desperation moves aren't a big surprise anymore, they sometimes whip them out like crazy as soon as their life bar goes red. Fatal Fury Special is a fun game, and the extra characters and bosses as well as the improved gameplay make it an even bigger blast to play in the original Fatal Fury 2. We had a lot of fun with this one, and it was great to see characters like Tung Fu Ru and Duck King come back.
One last thing I want to mention is that this classic game series inspired an anime series of sorts back in the day. There were two OAV specials. One was called Fatal Fury, Legend of the Hungry Wolf, and Fatal Fury 2, The New Battle, based on Fatal Fury 1 and 2, and they were released in separate VHS tapes.
Yeah, back in the day before the DVD existed.
Yeah, they were later re-released on DVD in the 2-in-1 special Fatal Fury Double Impact. Then there was a Japanese theatrical release called Fatal Fury The Motion Picture, which is the sequel to this. Now these animes are very faithful to the games they were inspired from.
Oh yeah, they're pretty legitimate. Remember the one time Andy's hair was silver, but then he changed it back to blonde because he realized how tacky it was? Oh, remember the one time Terry, my favorite character, never actually existed until now, and then she died? I always loved that part. And Terry learned a move that he never used ever again for some reason. Oh, and I also loved that in the second movie there was my other favorite character that never existed until now, whose name I choose to forget. Oh, and I remember when Terry was so depressed about losing, he was basically drunk the whole time. What a role model! And remember in the motion picture, aka the third movie, where these four fabulous-looking villains came into the picture out of nowhere with some half-baked reason for attacking Terry and his friends, and where Terry fell in love with another girl that was randomly tossed in for main plot reasons. Oh, and remember when they had that compelling dance scene with Mai? Yeah! Oh, but my favorite parts are the 10-second character cameos.
Correct study, ladies and gentlemen! Thank you! Oh boy. Anyways, guys, this is a classic game series that's been released throughout different versions throughout the years. There was an SNES and Genesis version of these classic games that was not very good. There was a Sega CD version of Fatal Fury Special and the Game Gear version. Why did they even bother? But that's what we had back then. What can we do about it? Now we got the PS2 re-release of these games called Fatal Fury Battle Archives Volume 1 that also includes Fatal Fury 3, and there's a Battle Archives 2 that has Rio Bob and the other games. The last game of the Fatal Fury series was Mark of the Wolves, and unfortunately, that's it. There was supposed to be a rumored sequel coming out later with Mai Shiranui and other characters, but it was just never made. And as we said in the last episode, it seems SNK Playmore just makes King of Fighter games and sometimes Metal Slug games, and we're not even sure about King of Fighters 14. And I guess for us, the only time we're going to see Terry Bogard and those characters again is if they guest star in King of Fighters 14. But anyways, it's a classic series. It's fun. It's kind of old school. You have to kind of get back into it. But I mean, hey, these are classic games. They take us back to our childhood. It's awesome. The anime series, I know they're not perfect, Urx Dolly, but they still bring us back. And anyways, guys, you know how it is. Keep watching our show. Be sure to subscribe. Leave your comments below. If they make more Fatal Fury games, you know we're going to review those. So just keep on watching. I'm Mark Rodriguez.
I'm Johnny Rodriguez.
This has been Video Game Masters. Thanks for watching.
See you next time.
Warning, the next few minutes contain terrible singing. If you don't want your ears to hurt, stop the video at this time. You have been warned.
Whoa, angel, come greet the dawn, it's a brand new day. Whoa, angel, let burn the passion that fires your soul. Each only night I get through without you becomes my victory. Each empty night I fight against the light, that is my destiny.
Yet I know that having might don't mean you're right. I can't be both cruel and kind.
When nothing makes sense, I look up at the clouds in the sky. They don't answer, but I still ask why. Stand tall, you won't fall. Even a wolf gets away now and then. Run into the sun. Sharpen your claws, spare your fangs, and go on.
Run your own race, fight for second place.
Go on and grab a star.
You can survive, you gotta stay alive.
Heaven is not that far.
When you're on the edge, you pledge to live just for today. Ain't no sense living in the past.
Look ahead and you'll see that tomorrow has already come. Time heals all wounds and love does go on. Stand tall, you won't fall. Courage, you stumble and then so that you run into the sun. Seek out those songs which have not yet been sung.
People do fall in love, though they may swear that the pain won't let go. Forevermore, I'll burn the flame of your dreams in my soul. Oh, angel, come breathe the dawn, it's a brand new day. Oh, angel, let burn the passion that fires your soul.